What's your unpopular opinion?
A clean home doesn't mean that your house is calm. And of late, I've found myself really getting so overwhelmed by the fact that things are just everywhere in my house because I have a son. Gosh, at this point, I'm like, okay, do you want me to put the things in the ceiling?
It's the politics of motherhood.
Welcome to the politics of motherhood.
Because everyone has an opinion about motherhood.
I'm Washuka.
And I'm Lynette.
Lynette,
Yes.
what is your favorite Christmas memory?
I have one. I can actually
Shoot.
smell it. Cutting the Christmas tree.
What? You did that?
We were natural, man.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Where were you growing? Where were you this time? Yamira?
I was growing up in Nyamira and we had cypress trees.
No way.
And on Christmas Eve, it was my duty again. Now I'm starting to feel misused as the last born because
real?
I had too many responsibilities. It was my duty to go and identify the best
Tree.
branch.
Oh, branch.
Yes, not the tree because you wouldn't cut the entire tree.
Yeah.
It was a branch.
Okay.
So since January, like as soon as you finish Christmas, you would start like marking which ones would make the best Christmas tree in December.
Oh, that's such a beautiful memory.
So I would go in with one of our Shamba boys and he would go and, cut the branch and I would find a big bucket, fill it with sand and put the tree inside and then start decorating.
Oh, wow.
And that would be a 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. affair. And I loved that. And I feel like my kids are robbed of that memory.
Yeah.
And I can't
where
wait.
in Nairobi is there?
Right now, it's just,
Cypress
I can't
trees.
wait to have a Christmas where we actually cut a tree and not like a plastic tree.
Buy one.
Yeah, buy one.
Pre-lit.
So I can still, like, as I'm talking about it, I can smell the cypress tree because it just brought a different vibe to the house.
Oh, that's such a nice memory.
What about you?
Oh, my goodness.
Beat that one.
I can't beat it. We're just sharing here. Okay, no pressure, zero pressure.
No pressure.
One of my other memories about Christmas is when we were a bit older. I think when we were in high school. I was in high school rather. High school? No, primary. Yes, primary. So throughout the year, we would save money in a little tin made of metal, some light metal. In my mother tongue, we call them karimus.
Karimos.
They're called karimu. So it was literally just a tin, so a piggy bank tin.
Yes.
So we'd put coins there.
It was a piggy bank.
Yeah. You save up. And then at the end of the year, you now break it. Because now it was not like a modern piggy bank where there's a lock and key. You have to use a knife to cut through and get how much
Burglar proof.
Yeah, exactly. And get how much you've saved for the year. And then that will determine where we go on holiday. I feel like that was...
Was this like a
the
family
best.
affair?
Yeah, it was a family affair.
Okay.
All the four of us.
Yes.
My mom, my dad, my sister, and myself. We put the money together and you're like, okay, so we have this amount. Where can we go for Christmas? And of course, my parents would have to top up because it would be like 20 bobs here and there, 10
Yeah, I will. The data side of me was going to be like, who contributed the most? They get the highest vote of where you get to go.
Yeah. So that was such a common memory for me. And
No, that
it
is
also
so sweet.
framed. I get a lot of lessons from that when it comes to money.
And
that's one thing we
I
should
feel like
also
I'm gonna
discuss.
borrow that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. You were saying that's one thing we need to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
money and motherhood, or money in motherhood.
Yes,
But
exactly.
the one thing I'm going to borrow is to start getting my kids to start hustling for their Christmas holiday.
Yeah, it's important.
Starting January 1st. I'm buying what was the name?
Karimo.
Karimo.
I don't know if they're still available now.
I know they
But
are
it was
because I've
such-
seen them in the market.
You've seen them? Oh, okay.
That's how I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the thing is, you can't even remove anything.
It's
you
a
can't
tin.
shake.
Yes,
to
and then it
track
has
any
a
money.
hole.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, so what are we
Karimo,
talking
here we
about?
come. Great.
What's our episode about to...
Today we are talking about something that could be rated highly controversial. But we're going to talk about it anyway.
Yes.
It's about hair.
Hair.
Yes. I wish there was a
Yeah.
song about like except for Becky with the good hair. There should be something about hair. But yes, no, I am not my hair by India Ree. Yes.
Yeah.
Both you and I are locked. So
Yes,
we
you're
have
both locked.
We have
Sister locks.
Sister locks.
Yeah.
I've had locks for maybe 15 years. So I get
15?
them, yes, and I cut them, and I get them, and I cut them.
You sell the hair?
No, I just cut it, go like short hair, grow it, locks and stuff for 15 years. So you would think that I have very long hair, but I don't. It's shoulder length now. But we have a lot of synthetic hair in the market, and a lot of people use synthetic hair. Growing up, we used to call it peace.
Yes, peace.
Yeah.
I don't know when it changed to braids.
Again, aging myself, it used to be called peace. And now it's called braids.
How do you even pronounce that? Put his peace.
Like, I don't know.
P-I-S-S. Is it
Exactly.
peace, like
How
peace?
do you spell it? Is it like pieces? Is it like peace juice and stuff? Like what
is peace?
What is
Yeah.
peace? Someone needs to tell us the history
For
of that.
real, yeah.
So if you know what the history of peace, if you're as old
Tell
as
us.
I am, just tell us. But recently we have started to hear about the effects of some of these synthetic hairs on our heads.
Yeah.
Hormone disruptions, contact dermatitis. There are all these things that are happening. What's your experience with synthetic hair?
So before I was locked,
How long have you been locked for?
4 years, a year and like maybe 2 months. I used to do braids. Like that was my usual way of movement. Braids. I shook her, stay for 2 weeks, undo and continue.
Yeah.
I've never been a weave. I mean, was it wig?
Weaves.
Wig and weaves. I've never been.
Yeah.
And quite recently, I was just thinking about it, and I feel like I would have been a wig person. It's just that they're too expensive for me. I've never seen the value of investing in such expensive hair.
I
Like,
hear that people
crazy.
spend like up to 100K
Hey,
on
no,
hair.
No, I'm not that rich.
Yo.
And even though that's not a priority for me, honestly. Yeah, so it's always been braids, and then at some point I even permed my hair because we were taught our African hair was too much to manage.
Yeah.
And even when I had natural hair in primary school, I remember we used to do full blow dry. The one where you're even using the toothless blow dry thingy and the finest comb to make sure it lallas flat.
It's
kabisa.
straight.
It is straight.
It's European.
Because you know what? That's what is neat.
Yes.
Hey. Then I think I transitioned to natural hair about 2017, 2018. Remember there's a time when there was a craze
Of like 4C, 4B, 3C,
exactly
3.
natural hair, porosity, twist out things.
It was a whole
Bantu
degree.
knots. I got onto that vibe. I transitioned to natural hair. And I think that transition was inspired by the fact that I wanted to go abroad. And I knew managing chemical hair would be very difficult because I'm not going to start putting palm on my head.
Yeah.
So natural hair made sense.
Yeah.
So I transitioned, and that's what I've had ever since. And I loved it. I've come to appreciate my hair so much. Yeah, and you, what's your relationship with... I mean, you've been locked for 15 years.
I've been locked for 15 years. In between, when I cut my hair, I've had like 1 or 2 salon, like I go to the salon, I get braided, and I immediately regret it. So I probably like braided maybe twice in the last 15 years.
Wow.
And interestingly, growing up, I had short hair. Up until I went to university, I had short hair. So maybe that's why my natural preference is going back to short hair. So I started braiding my hair in uni. I didn't like it. I cut my hair a couple of times. I mostly had natural hair. I tried, palming my hair, and I was like, I don't know how people do this. So I would say a big chunk of my life has been actually with natural hair. And I find that also mothers have a role to play in this, because my mom's hair has always been natural for as long as I have known her. So I did not know life any other way until, of course, you grow up and, when I came to Nairobi and everyone's hair is, long and stuff. And that's exactly what you do. But then the one thing I distinctly remember is how itchy my head would be after I have braided.
Yeah.
Like even now I can feel the itch.
Hey.
It was...
You're patting your head for dear life. You're using your pen to scratch your scalp.
The ladies in Kenyatta Market have finished their business.
Hey, yo, Kenyatta Market. Have you ever done twists in Kenyatta Market?
The hairline loss.
Hey, not even the hairline, the thigh on your face.
Let me see. You're being pulled by like 4 people, and then a 5th person comes and puts a thigh in your face.
Yeah.
And starts rolling.
Eish.
And it was an experience. But for me, it was also because I have sensitive skin. I used to itch a lot. It is, lately I hear people use apple cider vinegar to remove the chemicals. Now I am like, that is what used to happen to me. And for me, it is so wrong, because I'm like, what product is this that you need to put on your skin that comes without a manual of how to use it, that you have to self-identify out of, experimentation, that you need to put it in apple cider vinegar before you use it?
And how many people know that? How many people can even afford apple cider vinegar?
I have 2 girls.
Yes. You're a girl mom.
I am a girl mom. And I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And they had never been to a salon. I do their hair every Sunday. So every Sunday, that's my... So I cut their hair for 2 years. And then the second year I start growing it. And I start I braid. I can do anything. I can braid. I can do cornrows. I can do twist outs.
You can do cornrows?
Yeah, I can do anything. Very neat ones.
Yeah.
That's magic hands.
You work a lot with your hands, eh?
I do.
Yeah.
I actually do a lot with my hands, from my white collar job to my blue collar job to my mom job.
Yeah.
Everything has a lot to do with my hand. I brain hand coordination. So they've never been to a salon until a couple of months ago, when it was graduation day, and there was a memo of how their hair should look like.
Ah, come on.
Which was, it has to be braids with beads. So I remember I had said I was going to do it. I would do it with their hair, and then I'd put beads. And then it so happened that the day I wanted to do it, I had some work deadlines that I needed to finish. So I was like, let's just go to the salon. So I went and bought the braids, and, we went to the salon. And my oldest was really excited, because every holiday she's asking to have pink hair or purple hair like her friends, and I'm always like, no. And this time she was really excited because they were going to get blue, red, and white beads.
Okay.
So first of all, how do girl moms survive? Because how much are salon costs? Tell me how I spent 7,000 shillings on 2 children.
No. 3,500 each. Did you do treatment?
No.
Guy.
I hope I never have to pay that kind of a bill ever for the rest of my life. Because it was... they were washed, and then it was blow dried. But then I was kicked out of the salon because kids tend to misbehave when their mothers are around. So I went to a nearby cafe, and I just sat there as I worked. And it was, I brought the braids. I was like, is this what mothers spend on kids' hair every 2 weeks?
Wait, so you came with your own braids?
I came with my own
and
braids.
The bill was still 7,000.
And my bill was still 7,500. No, 7,000. And it was how long they sat there. It was 3 hours, which is how long I take anyway when I'm home. And sat there and I thought about it. And after, like, when you put the beads at the bottom, they have to band the ends. And I was just like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
On graduation day, of course, they looked very lovely. My kids were very happy. But I remember my oldest, thank God, she thought that when you do the braids, that becomes your hair forever.
Lol.
So at a point, she was like, wait, Mama, so you mean this is fake hair? So will it grow into my scalp? And I was like, no,
girl.
it just goes in and then
It comes out.
it comes out.
Yeah.
And in fact, she refused to do the hair at a point because she was like, no, if it's going to come out, then what's the point? Let's just use my hair.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, at least now I know I'm never going to her. And she's never asked for it
Again.
Like when it was removed, the end, you know. But I'm glad though that I did it that way because everyone looked uniform.
Yeah.
And I know it would have been a lot if they did not look like everyone else on that particular day because it was her special day. Then one day she's playing, she likes to do hand flips because she's a gymnastics girl.
Yeah.
And she flipped on one of her braids.
Hey.
And the cornrows at the front, like it all came out at the root. I was so upset when I found out. I was really upset because I was like, I have spent years growing this hair.
Yeah.
Well, taking care of it. And I have a whole line that has come
That
out.
has ever happened to me.
So it's a whole bald spot. I feel pain now. I'm like, she's like, Mama, but it will grow back. I'm like,
For
of
real,
course I
for
know it will
real.
grow back, but look at this. Anyway, that's my long story about like at least braiding my kids, and the fact that I'm never going to do it again. Maybe when the little one is graduating, we might have to do it for uniformity. But I feel like I'm working so hard to grow her hair so that when that time comes, we won't have to do it. But then it's what's your story about like using synthetic hair?
I mean, well, I'm a boy mom, so hey, the only experience I have is me. And just that I like I'd said, it's braids used to really irritate me. Like I used to itch so much when there's like hair on my neck. And I'm like, what is happening? What is this? Where's that things on my skin? And then it was at some point my hairline is now starting to move back.
Yes.
The tension is so tight at the front. Ish. And then you know how you come from the salon and umeshukwa so tightly, you've been plaited so tightly, you genuinely cannot sleep.
It's actually
You have
advised
to
that you
swallow
take
painkillers. For why?
for beauty.
Why? It's never that serious,
You
honestly.
look cute.
Nah. So, when I went abroad, I really came to appreciate my African roots, and which is very weird because you'd expect you starting to convert to European standards, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I came to really love my uniqueness.
It's amazing how, sorry to cut short, no one talks about how African you feel when you are abroad.
Yeah.
I remember I used to even primarily listen to African music because I'm like, I can't forget myself.
Yes.
That's the moment you're like, you hear people travel with sausages and
Farmer's choice sausages.
yeah, and traditional vegetables, and you're like, what? Don't they have vegetables over there? They don't.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
Yeah. So I just felt I appreciated myself a lot more. And where I went to school, it was in the south of England. So to see a black person was very rare. So I was amongst the few.
So you were like, I must represent.
I must represent my people.
Yes.
So I used to wear my crown so proudly.
Yes.
I used to have the puffs out. I used to even make mohawks. I used to do twist outs. And I remember one of my classmates who was Chinese one day just came to me. Actually, he was a guy. He was like, Susan, I really love your hair. Like, your hair is so versatile. You can do so many things.
Yeah.
And then at that time also I got some braids at some point. yeah, braiding African hair abroad is so expensive. Yo. Anyway, so I got braids at some point, and I remember all the white people and all the Chinese were like, "What is that on your head?" I'm like, "I thought this hair comes from your country. What do you mean? What is that on my head?" And they're like, "Is that your hair still?" I'm like, "No, it's not my hair. It's just braids." And they couldn't understand. What do you mean it's just braids?
Yes.
What is braids? How?
Yeah.
And like they used to get so fascinated by the fact that one day my hair is long because shrinkage.
Yeah.
The next time it's in a puff.
Yeah.
So I really came to love my hair. I came to love my identity as an African woman. And I was like, I don't need to change that. There's a reason why I was born in Africa.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I was born this way with this kinky hair. I just need to appreciate it. So, yeah, I think being abroad really made my experience with my hair so intimate because I also used to take care of it. So I would do it was a whole ritual for me.
Yeah, I had Saturdays, evenings, wash.
You're doing your own
and
hair.
I had the regular locks, I had my own mix of oils.
Exactly.
You make your own mixes and you just twist it
was
and stuff.
so
And it
nice.
was... And I have a question for you.
Well, this one maybe.
Yeah,
go ahead.
ahead.
Before I forget this point. There's a time, just a short story.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were going for a school trip to Zurich and Milan. And I was wondering what am I going to do with my hair? So I was like, there's no one to braid it. I mean, the south of England, there's no African saloonist. So, I sat down and I'm like, I plaited it. I did like the 3 matutas. Then I decorated with like some hair beads here and there. And I went, okay, it was looking according to my standards because I'm used to how, in Kenya, you're shukwad neatly. There's no hair out of place.
You stretch out the roots.
Exactly. So with that in mind, I knew I looked shabby. But you know what? From the minute I got into the plane, the air hostess was like, "Wow, I love your hair. What is this? Is this your actual hair? Have you put anything? Oh my goodness, you look so beautiful." I'm like, I just sent photos to my parents and they thought I looked like a problem. Like,
Yes.
do we need to send you money? Kind of thing. So such experiences just make you have a really close and intimate relationship with your hair. Like, I don't need to conform, And
The one thing I loved about, especially when I had regular dreadlocks, is...
Oh, you had the fat ones?
Not very fat, but they're almost the size I have now, kind of mid.
Yeah.
I used to do my own hair. And as you're saying, you develop a different relationship with your hair. And I like to say, I have never received as many compliments, including the streets of Nairobi. Because I never used wax, because I also have a problem with that.
And that's what they use in the salons these days to make those straight lines.
Exactly. So there's wax, there's dreadlock wax, and now there's gel wax that is used for like lines and stuff. Which will bring me to my question. But for me, I used to bring like my own olive oil, rosemary oil, and a bunch of like essential oils and stuff, and mix it and just twist it. Like I wasn't seeking, because when you use wax, it gives it that like neat look.
Yeah.
But when you use oil, you can coil it, and then it's going the very next day. You just sweat while you're sleeping, and it uncoils. But I had healthy hair. I had like, it was long and it was straight. Like I didn't have the bumps. I didn't have a lot of like products in my hair. So it really, shows sometimes the standards that we have, or the standards we've been exposed to. And when someone looks at your hair and like, oh my goodness, you have such beautiful hair, you know? And sometimes even when you see people with dreadlocks that are not neat, but as long as it's clean and it's, you're like, that's good hair, And that brings me to my question of, where do you think these standards came from? The standards that we hold of hair. The other day, Michelle Obama got a lot of slack for talking about, it's the white people that are always expecting this. And white people came out and said, excuse me, we have things to do. We are not thinking about black people's hair. So it's the same thing men say when it's like, oh, we go and do all these changes and get this beautiful for you. And men are like, no,
I didn't ask for it.
I didn't ask for it. So there's always that question of, where did these standards come from? Because when I think about like growing up, in primary school, in high school, it was Black people that enforced your hair has to be neat. Your hair cannot be locked. It is Black people till date who stereotype, a man with dreadlocks, you must be a thug. You must be, white people are out here being like, look at you, back to your roots, love it. Can I also do that?
Yeah.
So where do you think these standards came from? Is it true that it's the white folks, or is it us coming up with our own things?
I will blame the colonialists.
Okay.
Because we used to have our own thing, right? We used to have our own way of taking care of our hair. Hair was actually sacred.
Yes.
So the very initial standard, I believe, was set by the colonialists. And now from there, it's our own doing, honestly.
Because I was going to ask you, the colonialists are out there being like, we left a while ago.
No, but it's been years of, you've been told your hair is ugly.
Yeah.
You don't look good. It's all over the place. You look terrible. In fact, your hair needs to be straighter. And they passed that on to the Black people of then. Then it became a societal thing in the African culture that your hair needs to be straight. If it's not straight, you're unprofessional. You look ugly. It's not. You don't look nice. Pretty much. Because I remember when you said we were going to do this episode, I was just reflecting back, and my sister has never permed her hair a day in her life. It's always been natural. And when she was doing those natural hairstyles, the twist outs, the puffs and everything, my dad used to tell her, when you don't have money for salon, and why you're not going to the salon and fix your hair? And I'm like, wow, it's been indoctrinated in their heads that this hair in its natural state is untidy.
Yeah.
It looks bad.
Yeah.
I remember my dad having comments of, if someone has dreads, you're a thug, you're in Mau Mau.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like, and it's not his fault. It's because his forefathers, like,
that's
it's a whole
been taught.
Generational thing that they've been taught that this is not attractive. And it's quite sad. Now we're doing it on our own because now it's an element of
generational curses.
Exactly. Now it's an element of business.
Yeah.
These braids, someone is earning money from shipping in the braids. And they're not bad. The thing is when it comes to the African market, it's not regulated. The kind of chemicals that they're using on these braids is insane. I actually didn't know. I was a few days old that I knew about these chemicals in the braids. I genuinely did not know how harmful braids are. At some point, I was like, you know what? Someone just wants to kill the black race because why?
Yeah.
Please explain to me why. Why is it that everything that comes to the African market is harmful, is an endocrine disruptor, and it targets women because women are the ones who carry a generation. If you kill the women, if you're causing the hormones to go haywire, then you won't have kids.
Then
you stop. You stop the production of that race.
I think for me,
Yeah.
that brings the conversation and part of the things that we talk about on this podcast, touch on policy and the role of different actors as well. And what's the role of government in these conversations that we're having? Why is, in our case, we're in Kenya, why is the Kenyan government not, looking at these issues?
Yeah.
Why are African
we're
governments,
women.
And that's the thing. There's a role that capitalism plays. And we'll talk about also capitalism in the natural hair care, industry. But in synthetic hairs, for example, synthetic hair inputs and products, there's a role that the government can play. But it's also, industrialization when locally the stuff that is being produced, is it even safe? So it's not just the imported stuff, what is made in China. The Chinese folks are not consuming it because they have no need to consume it, because their standards are not, at that point. But they also have standards about like whiteness and looking lighter. And there's a whole conversation about that.
But the glass skin look.
Exactly, Korean beauty steps. But do we have enough interest within government, especially because there's more women affected by an issue like this, to start having that conversation? I've watched a lot of documentaries where they say, for instance, even clothes that you wear tell you the ingredients: polyester, nylon, cotton. But braids do not tell you what the ingredient is.
They don't. They can't even afford to, because you will not use them.
Exactly. So I see that there's a role that, one, government has to play. But then two, we ourselves have to play in educating ourselves, demand and supply rules. That if we stop buying those products, hopefully they will either change the formulations or they will stop producing it. But we have continued because, hey, I can't deny it. Look at how beautiful women look when they have their knotless braids, when they have, their kinkies and wigs and weaves and, Brazilian hair and everything. But then at what cost? I know personally someone who said when they stopped using like braids and wearing wigs, the synthetics and stuff, that their hormones and their health actually changed. Their periods became regular. And I've heard of someone who said, they had fibroids and they met this doctor who said, just go back to your natural hair. Don't do anything to it. Don't put anything in it. And within like 6 months, their fibroids had actually, reduced. And you're like, wow, that is quite interesting. That is actually quite interesting. But even as we talk about that, it's bringing me back to a point that you raised in terms of hair is sacred. But even as we talk about synthetic hair, there's this whole other market of human hair.
Girl.
And the history behind people cutting their hair. And by people here, we're talking about Indians. We're talking about folks generally with naturally straight hair. And the culture behind it, the religion behind it. And then you take that hair and you put it in your hair. And what that also means, putting someone else's hair. We have cultures in Africa where when your husband dies, for example, you cut your hair.
Okay.
Or if you lose someone in the family, you cut your hair. So in that sense, your hair has a sacred, a spiritual meaning to it. So if someone, and you asked me earlier if when I cut my dreadlocks, I sold them. And I said, no. Like, when people go through a breakup, I think there's a saying that if you see a woman cut their hair, they're about to change their life.
Yeah.
But then you take that hair and put it, like, that's someone's big change. And normally it's after a breakup. That's someone's big change. And then you take that and put it in your head. I know, for example, when I'm really stressed out, like, no matter what, whether it's work or it's life, the first thing I do to relieve that is I wash my hair. Like, nothing calms me down like washing my hair. And I remember, like, when I lost the baby, in that moment when we got home with my husband, the first thing I told him is, I want to cut my hair. Like, I didn't want to cut it out of any meaning. But the thing that felt heaviest
is your hair.
Was my hair. And my hair is not long. It's not heavy. It's very light.
Yeah.
But I kept telling him, please bring scissors. I just need to cut my hair. Like, I feel like it's just weighing me down.
And even when you're depressed, the first thing you do is cut your hair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it's also not just the synthetics, but also the natural hair, the
human hair.
The human hair.
Yeah. And it's so expensive.
That we put in our heads. What does that mean?
Do you know, I've always asked myself, like when this human hair came into the market, I usually used to ask myself, okay, so does someone who cut their hair, Or is it like manufactured somewhere in a lab that is more human?
Yeah, it
And then-
has it's from pig hair.
Yeah, something. But I was shocked to find out after I watched a documentary that it's women somewhere in India cutting their hair, and they're doing it for a religious purpose.
Yeah,
They're offering it up to their god.
Yeah.
And then it's collected by someone, and it's refined, and God knows what else happens, chemicals here and there. And I was like, what?
And now they have all these hair harvesters, and I've watched a documentary on that, where they're, you know, business people who go into like remote villages and they, you know, measure your hair, they look at it and they cut it. And you should see how those women are sad. Like they're getting paid. You're just told
But
for
it's
this.
peanuts, right? I'm sure it's not much
It's
because
not-
they're going to the village.
But also it's that attachment that women
Have to them.
have to their hair. So there's that commercialization of beauty and beauty standards and how women need to look and stuff. And I find that very problematic.
you know, there's a spiritual element. That aside for a minute, for me, it's the fact that some of this hair is taken forcefully from a woman in the village.
Yeah.
And if they're paid anything, if at all, it's peanuts. But then these guys make such huge margins.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's such an injustice. Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to purchase that, I feel that is such a great injustice.
Yeah.
For real, for real.
That it is.
So, yeah. You're walking around with someone, that hair was in someone else. Crazy.
It's actually quite crazy. And for me, I think
Actually, at some point I even thought it was dead people.
Or
To
like-
know that it's live people, alive people. You know, a dead person, maybe they donated their hair. Like you donate an organ.
Yeah.
People who are alive.
And I think for me, it's now the saddest part of this whole hair thing is how younger and younger the standards are going. You know, as I mentioned, I had short hair. This is in no way, you know, saying that my standard of being raised was the best, but I had short hair.
Yeah.
And I have 4 sisters, so there's 5 girls. And one time, in fact, last year I asked my mom, you know, why she cut our hair when we were growing up. And she said, I had 5 girls who had the time to take you all to the salon and to make sure you're all neat and you're clean and you're everything, you know. And these standards have been pushed. Before it was like you're young, you either have permed hair or you have cornrows or matutas, you know, and you're fine. And now you have 13-year-olds graduating and they have human hair with edges slicked and laid back.
For real.
And I'm like, and all the long nails, and we'll talk about that at a different time. You're like, how old are you again? Because this is what they know. I saw the other day one of my neighbor's kids. She's not 13, and she has super long nails, you know, that have been. And I'm thinking about the glue that is used.
The
You
UV.
know, the UV that was
Polish.
used, the polish itself,
The buffing.
the buffing, the cuticle cutting. I'm like, how fantastic it is to be in the beauty industry. Because
They make money.
if you can get kids at that age. It was a few months ago, Sephora, you know, released their numbers on how much, you know, kiddie makeup they are now selling. And that is now, it's interesting. Different cultures have different problems. You know, in the West, it's makeup for kids and stuff. In the South, and generally for Black people, it's makeup, it's nails, it's hair. You know, we still carry a very big burden in terms of like the beauty industry and the beauty standards that are expected. But now we have 10-year-olds wearing wigs and weaves and, you know, and doing all these things. And when you think about like a child's skin, you know, the skin is very porous. That's how you know, older women, you can do birth control as a patch on your skin.
Oh, yeah.
And it absorbs all the way. So now
but
think
then I've never
about,
thought about
all the things you're putting on your skin, including these chemicals in hair that you need apple cider vinegar to remove. You're putting that directly on a child's head every single day. You're putting that directly on your head as a woman. Your scalp has been cleanly washed. Your hair has been straightened. So that means, there are no blockages. And then you've exposed your scalp and now you've laid on top of that braids,
And carry on.
Now, I was going to say, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be one of our most controversial episodes. But here it is.
And for me, the saddest bit is how younger and younger girls are getting these braids done.
Yes. I mean, actually, we have like 6-month-olds.
6 months?
Yeah.
Ish.
Some parents, like as soon as your child can sit, they can get braided.
With braids?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Yes.
Ish.
I have seen it.
Okay. So you're starting a girl on hormone disruptors as early as that. And when you think about it, it's a whole chain. It's not only the girl. You go to the salon. You know how they usually, to make it neater, they put blow dry shoe and choma the edges. So even the hairstylist is breathing in those things.
Yeah, all
the person being braided is breathing in. Even you who is just innocently going to do your hair, your natural hair, you breathe it in. What does that happen to you? What does that mean for your body?
And you know what the most annoying part is of the blow drying and natural hair? Most salons
are not well ventilated, right?
No, will not do your natural hair. They're like, we don't know how to do natural hair.
Yes.
There is the ventilation, but they'll be like, we don't know how to do natural hair.
Yeah.
Because I had problems with that whenever I'd cut my locks and be in that natural phase. They're like, no, just braid it. And they're like, no, we have to blow dry it.
They don't understand this concept of air drying or you can actually
and that's
braid
why I
when it's
intentionally don't, like once a year when I'm trimming their hair, I blow dry my kids. But then I do their hair natural, because how do you have something you don't know how to take care of, in the sense that how do you have up to 90% of stylists in an African country saying they can't do your hair because they're also not taught how to do your hair when it's not straight.
But anyway, it's just very, 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 very concerning that kids' hormones are as early as 6 months, like you said, are being disrupted. We're going to have a fertility issue.
No, we are. We are.
When these kids grow up,
maybe that's also, the goal.
Exactly.
Maybe that's also the goal, because, there's been a lot of conversations around
managing
populations in one way or another, through food, through healthcare, through interventions with mothers, family planning that is not without consent. So there's that. Then 2, there's the commercialization aspect. Commercializing fertility treatments. So it's like, disrupt, and then suddenly, you can come in and do an IVF and do all that.
Yeah.
But then, interestingly, there's now what is becoming very popular: hair transplants.
What?
Oh, don't tell me you don't know about this. It's now, of course, it starts with influencers and stuff, but now you can go, you've lost your, hairline because it's been pulled for years. Remove hair and transplant it to your forehead.
Your own hair? Or which hair?
Yeah, it's your own hair. But then these are procedures that cost up to $500,000, $1 million, shillings. Your African forehead is a bit too big.
The 5 head.
Yeah. Now let's reduce it with hair transplanting and, create a new forehead. So for me, in fact, the most problematic part here is that when you connect all these dots backwards, there's a commercialization aspect to it. There's, let's create a new consumer group. Yeah. And that consumer group, unfortunately, is women. And unfortunately, it starts off with girls. So we are lab rats. one way or another, unfortunately.
Women, we really get the short end of the stick.
Yo, it's never enough.
For real.
It is never enough.
Ish. And you've talked about the hairline going backwards. There's the aspect of tension, but I came to learn also the chemicals in the braids that, you know how the braids come shiny, looking nice. That's chemical because it's also your hair to break.
You see, if breastfeeding without any tension to your hair can cause you, because of hormonal imbalance, can cause your hair to fall off. So what are those chemicals going to do? And you have them. As you said, you used to do your hair every 2 weeks. You know, you go in, you have a new, set of braids. So I think there's a lot that needs to happen from both sides. We need a government that cares for its citizens.
For sure.
And we need citizens who are also informed. Because, in fact, we both watched the same documentary that talked about hair and braids, Lynn Googie's. And I found myself asking, how are sanitary pads more expensive than braids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a completely
essential
different
good.
An essential good is a lot more expensive
than
it's a luxury.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. But what girls can stop going to school for? Some girls in some places, there's research that shows some girls prefer to get pregnant so that they continue going to school.
Also, because they don't have periods.
Because they don't have periods.
Ish.
But sanitary pads for one cycle of a month is more expensive than getting braids on your hair.
And the other thing, Lynette, that I'm really concerned about is the identity shift that happens with when you braid your hair, when you have longer hair, right? Because honestly, I feel like you actually take a new persona.
Yes.
When you have that wig on, you're like,
you do.
Becky with the good hair, like you may give yourself a new name. That's actually a problem, no?
It is. It is. And I know this because I can see how having daughters means I interact with a lot of girls who are their friends. And even them, I can tell how after I have done their hair, how they run to the mirror to look at it and to be happy. And I can tell how when the other girls have longer hair, how they're always like, and you're like, how are you 3? And you think having longer hair is better.
It's better. It's more beautiful.
It's more beautiful.
Ish, yeah.
And there's something about it. Maybe it's taught, maybe it's learned. But one of the reasons why I personally became defiant around hair and beauty, things like makeup, I don't wear makeup. I haven't worn makeup in a really long time. And there was a time I used to be like, before I travel, I have to make sure I have, my marks. I have to make sure my hair is a certain way. These days I can wash my hair the night before I travel. And I'm fine. Like I'll wash it, and when you wash it, it becomes a bit frizzy and stuff, and I'm fine. Yeah. I would be somewhere and I'm in a hotel and I just wash my hair because I'm like, I really don't care. But how I started my defiance was also looking at the animal kingdom. Look at the lions. It's the lion that has long hair, and the lioness has short hair. Look at the peacocks, Look at the birds, look at the mammals, it's the male versions that actually have what we call beautiful features. It's the male birds that tend to be more colorful.
It's true.
It's the, male animals that tend to have like sleeker fur and, and I'm like, how did humans change this on us? When did that shift happen? That it's the women who have to have, the good hair. It's the women who have to wear the heels. It's the women who have to change their skin color to be more attractive. And I'm really interested in knowing what the history of all of this is, beyond colonization. Because before colonization, actually, like women were women. We wore skins and our boobs were out,
nothing at all.
you know, but it's the men, look at the Maasai culture, who had to do their braids and put the ore, and, you know, who have to put the colorful, like look at the Luo culture. It's the men who have to wear that feather crown and, you know, look very beautiful. Look at, you know, the Zulu culture. It's the men who have to wear the leopard skin?
Yeah, leopard skin,
you know,
spears, necklace.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at what
When
point
that's an interesting concept.
did things change?
Yeah.
And now it's
The pressure is on women.
the pressure is on women to do, and we'll have another episode about like body changes and the things that we intentionally do, but especially little girls to be put in this position of, I have my new hair, I'm a new girl, you know, and it goes all the way to how women save to spend hundreds of thousands of shillings on their hair. But even the style that you and I have in the global north, it's going to cost you like $2,000 to get sister locks.
Yeah.
And then people have to retire their own hair because of how expensive
It is to retire.
Why is it so expensive? Why is hair so expensive? Yeah.
You know, when I just think about it, just initial thoughts, I feel it's a whole capitalism thing because people want to make money. I feel like it's easier to make money from women than men. We are more accepting of things as like, it's our psyche.
No, women run the world.
Yeah, it's our
Like
psyche.
women run the commercial world, actually. Yeah.
Agreed. And, you know, I'm still like looking back in how I've grown up and my relationship with hair. And I remember in primary school and high school, the school that I was in, we used to have every week, we used to have a department badge. So department badge was given to girls who are neat. So they look at your hair, they look at how your uniform is ironed, your nails, your shoes, and your desk. So I remember you could never win that thing if your hair is messy. It has to be straight. I'm like,
and by messy you mean is
African. Kinky.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
you couldn't.
It
In
could
what
be clean,
world?
but it's curly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In what world are you being allowed even to go into school? Our world, at least. You're going into school with kinky hair. It's either shaved, plaited, or straight with chemical. You know.
Yeah.
So this thing was just ingrained in us, and I'm glad that we're having these conversations. And fine, the government has a role to play, but I have almost zero faith.
It's a systemic issue.
Exactly.
Because schools also need to move away from, you know.
Does it happen these days? Like, what do kids have to wear? Like, is there restrictions in what you can put on your hair? How your hair should be?
Yeah.
Are you allowed dreadlocks these days? Like,
what I like about, for instance, the school that my kids go to, it's an all-girls school. It's a Catholic school.
yeah.
And they say your hair has to be, the school code is it has to be plaited backwards. But I'm the defiant one, sometimes it's plaited backwards in cornrows, sometimes I have it in twist outs. In twists, not twist outs. But it's okay, no one has ever, brought up an issue really. The one thing they don't allow is dreadlocks.
Okay.
And I kind of understand, them even as a lock person. Sometimes...
I don't understand. Please explain to me.
Yeah, especially for kids. Like, because of the way dreadlocks are done, they've not specified like sister locks, which I have seen some kids have. Dreadlocks tend to be done with wax. Wax attracts a lot of like dust and stuff. So your hair tends to be dirtier than usual. And these are kids playing in sandpits. But when it's crocheted, like what you and I have, it's just hair. So even when you wash it, you wash most of the dirt, out. So the way dreadlocks are done is they're done with sticky wax. And that wax, even as an adult, like when you think about why dreadlocks have more lint in them and it's because of the sticky wax. So that wax tends to attract everything and dust and soil and stuff. So, and then, so for my kids' school, at least, they don't allow dreadlocks. And I know there's lots of schools that also don't allow dreadlocks and don't allow like boys to have long hair. And for me, it works out well because then most girls that I see in the school actually have like their natural hair. They'll have their natural hair in the lines, cornrows, and then they'll have like an extension of a ponytail of braids. Or some will have like just braids and stuff. But they don't allow color.
Okay,
That's the other
it's
thing.
black.
But it's not like black braids are better than
Better.
colored.
No, they're not better. And that's what I was gonna ask. Like,
Yeah.
see, we just use Uzi, like the yarn. If you have to
Exactly.
extend, no?
But some kids also have yarn. They use
Okay.
yarn. So the thing I find about that specific school is all the hair is black, you know.
Okay.
So there's no, curly braids and stuff. And they're like white kids there, they're mixed kids, they're Indian kids, they're Somali kids. But everyone's like, and that's the interesting thing. Like the mixed kids, the white kids, the Somali Indian kids, they have their natural hair.
Yeah.
But then the other kids have,
Because it's straight, Lynette.
exactly.
So it's still going on.
So you're within standards. You're born within the standards.
Exactly. So, as I was saying, it needs to be a personal responsibility. What are you teaching your kids about
Yes.
their identity as an African, as an Afro woman,
Yeah.
as an Afro girl?
Yeah.
We need to let them, or rather give them space to love themselves as who they are and appreciate their uniqueness. Beauty does not mean you have to conform to a particular standard.
Totally agree.
In your own personal situation, the way you look, you're beautiful and you need to appreciate that and love that. So please, if you're a girl mom, please teach your child. And it also starts with you, right?
In fact,
like you
that's
can't
the
be
point I
teaching
wanted to
something.
make, which is while the burden falls on the mothers, unfortunately, it's kids learn by example.
Yeah.
If you dress a certain way, your kids are going to know that's the standard of dressing. If you behave a certain way, like I will tell you the number of times my kids ask for piercings because
You have piercings.
I have piercings.
Yeah.
And I tell them, when they're old and they ask, when we're 10, will we have piercings? And I'm like, no. And now I understand because my parents did not want me to have piercings. And I'm like, you're beautiful the way you are. My parents used to say that. And I was like, But yeah, it's what the kids are saying. But as you said, the story you gave or the example you gave of your dad, it's all parents' responsibility to give your children the confidence
Yes.
that
They're beautiful.
they're beautiful, how they are.
They
And
don't
in
need
fact,
to change
fathers
anything.
play
A
a
key
very critical role.
role.
I'll tell you, when I was growing up, my mom used to, like, my hair should be short.
Yeah.
And my dad would say, you need some hair on your head to keep the brain warm. Did you know? He was a science teacher. So did you know that's actually the role of the hair? Hair?
No, that's real.
Yeah. It's to protect your scalp. And part of that is keeping your brain warm.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's a scientist, so
So everything is there for a reason.
everything is there for a
Yeah,
reason.
okay.
So and he used to say you need to make sure you have enough hair to cover your head, because if something fell on your head, your hair is the first point of
Protection. Yeah.
So in fact, African hair is even better protection. Maybe because we grew up in the wild.
It will catch.
Yeah. If a stick fell, it will get caught in your hair. If something scratched you, it will scratch your hair before it gets to your scalp and your scalp. So those are the things. So
And
anyway,
it makes sense because, I mean, in Africa
we grew up
is where...
in a wilder environment.
Exactly.
With
Okay.
lions and tigers.
Okay, anyway, human beings, we just want to change
There
things.
you go. So those are some of the things that, as we're saying, it unfortunately primarily falls on the woman,
Yeah.
on the mother, setting an example. And what you show your children is
what they'll do.
They'll know.
You can talk all you want, but what you do is be like, Mom, but you do these things,
Yeah.
so why not? Why can't I do it? Actually, the reason also why I went natural is for my kids as well.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I went sister locks. At least it's still natural. But it's just a thing of doing things by example. If they see me appreciating myself, appreciating
Yes.
and loving my
Loving
hair,
yourself.
loving my skin color, dressing according to, like how my body is, they'll be like, Yeah, that's how I grew. I grew up seeing this, so this is
Yes.
normal. This
Yes.
is this is according to brand. So yeah, it starts with the mom, and also for boy moms, and also something that I'll do also for my kids, for my boys, is to teach them that how this person looks in the natural state is beautiful.
Yes.
So that they don't not giving pressure to their
Girls
girlfriends
and,
and their friends. Hey, you need to do this. You need to paint your nails. You need to have straight hair. No. To teach them, imagine that girl you're seeing the way she is. She's pretty. She's beautiful. She doesn't need to change anything for you.
Yeah. You know, there's
By the
that
way.
running, whatever meme joke that says, here's a case for whenever it's like a girl who's overdone. It's like, here's a case for you need to go to swimming for your first date. Exactly.
No, there's waterproof makeup.
Well,
Very
jokes on you.
waterproof makeup.
Yeah. So it's also what we are setting, not necessarily setting as an example. I have a problem sometimes when people are like, you're setting an example for other people. It's not no one's responsibility to do that for people who are not your children.
For sure.
But it's what we are teaching. It's kind of the standard we are setting for the future, because what we are teaching little children now is
a
what they
generational
will get to
thing.
know, is what they'll carry forward. So
Agreed.
hopefully, that changes.
Please love yourself, guys.
Love
yourself. You're unique for a reason.
Yes, we should cue, I am not my hair. I am not the skin.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot that we can say, but as we close this, let's just love ourselves. Let's
Love yourself the way you are.
Yeah,
For real.
you're beautiful,
You're
and you're
beautiful.
worthy, and all those affirmation things that little children do.
Okay, Lynette, that was a really nice episode.
That was a good one. Yeah.
So we go to our unpopular opinion segment.
Yes, what's your unpopular opinion? Except for what we've just covered.
Yes. Okay. I would say a clean home, a clean house, doesn't mean that your house is calm. Sometimes a kid just needs your presence. And I thought of this unpopular opinion because I like things clean, in order,
Yeah.
in a certain way. And of late, I've found myself really getting so overwhelmed by the fact that things are just everywhere in my house because I have a son. Gosh, at this point, I'm like, okay, do you want me to put the things in the ceiling? Because that's the only place you'll be able to reach. Because he's reaching everywhere. You've put this thing here, you'll find it in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, this is too much. So I'm just trying to unlearn and just to be okay with things being out of place. And it's fine. My child is happy. My home is calm.
Yes.
He has me. He has my presence. And I don't need to fight the little things. Sticking to the bigger picture. Yeah, I've really struggled. Honestly, I've really struggled with that. Ish, that boy shows me dust. That boy shows me so much dust.
And I think it's all children. They're just...
It's the same for girl moms?
Yes. Every morning I'm like, where did you put the keys? Where is my charger? Where are your shoes?
Where is the remote? Tell me, where is apple doing in the toilet?
The remotes, they know exactly where it's going to be. That's their entertainment. They know exactly where it's going to be.
I've had instances where there's a banana in my toilet.
Yeah.
A banana. I'm like, Leanne, why? For why? Ish. What's yours?
My unpopular opinion is it's okay to not be okay as a mother. You don't have to do everything. And I need to listen to myself. I really do need to listen to myself.
Point for Lynette.
Yes.
Lynette, mic check.
Dear
mic
Lynette.
check.
That, sometimes as moms, especially, we do everything for everyone. I was watching, there's this nice, it's like 10 minutes clips of this girl. I forget her name, but it's like, we'll plug it somewhere. And she took this lady to go shopping for her family. And she was like, so what are we getting for the kids? And what are we getting, for this? And what are we getting for you? And it was like, what are we getting for you, crickets? Like, we tend to give a lot of ourselves to other people and forget ourselves. And that's the one thing I want to do a lot more next year. It doesn't mean like spend on myself and stuff, but be able to just say no, and that's okay. To everyone, including the children, put yourself first. Putting yourself first doesn't mean selfish. It's sometimes being like, right now, I just need a moment of silence. And sometimes people find that problematic. Like, you have to be available, you have to. But for me, like, it's just put yourself first and do what's right for you. Just as the episode we've just covered. Think about yourself and your health. Yes, you look beautiful for the rest of the world. But then at night when you're struggling with the itch, when you're patting your head because it's only you.
When you have a headache.
Exactly. Who's feeling that?
Yeah.
So like, let's take care of ourselves first. Before we even expect our husbands to buy us flowers, before we expect our colleagues to be understanding, let's start with that. The one thing I learned once was people will treat you how you treat yourself. So they'll watch and they'll be like, that's how this person doesn't put themselves first. So I don't have to put them first. So let's do a little more for ourselves.
I love that. That's a very good reminder for us moms.
Yes.
As ish. Yeah. Even myself, because my husband has been pestering me. Ashuka, you need to go for a massage. Because I'm always complaining about an ache.
Dear husband, if you're listening to this podcast, see what God is doing for other people.
He's like, Ashuka, go, I'll take care of the kids. Me, I'm like, no, what do you mean you'll take care of the kids? No,
I need to be here.
I need to be present.
I need to be with my handbags.
I'm not introduced the bottle, But yeah, I should take that advice.
Yeah, you said you love massages.
I do.
Yeah.
But I'm so tense. Like, my body is so tensed up.
I'm not a massage person.
A proper massage.
But sometimes I'm like, maybe I should go. But I'm like, I don't quite enjoy it. But okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'll tag along. If you have a partner, maybe you,
Exactly. And perhaps maybe a business can also sponsor us.
Right.
For massage.
So if you have massage services, you have an unwilling participant and an overdue participant.
Yeah.
Let us know.
All right, Lina. That was a lovely conversation.
Yes, and here's to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
And a prosperous 2026.
See you next year.
See you next year. Bye.
It's the politics of motherhood.